So as promised, we are going to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is a highly recommended book on money. Have you come across this book, Varuna?
No.
All right. So this is based on a real story about, so this author, this is his real story, I think. So he had access to a father who was poor but educated. And then he also had access to his friend's father, who was not very educated but very rich. So he is going with the advice that he received from the rich dad as well as the poor dad, and what the difference he saw in both. What the rich teach their kids about money that the poor and middle class do not. Okay, let's find out. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a starting point for anyone looking to gain control of their financial future. Okay, so they always start with the contents, chapter 1. Introduction, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We'll read that today. And then chapter 1, lesson 1, the rich don't work for money. Okay, let's read the introduction today, and then we will. All right, just read through that and let me know when you want me to scroll down. And doesn't matter if you don't understand everything, just completely read without asking me. And of the first full page, then we'll come back to it.
Miss, can you scroll?
Okay.
Miss, I couldn't understand this one.
Mhm.
Which one? He had a PhD and completed 4 years of undergraduate work in less than 2 years.
Mm.
Or 4 years undergraduate and completed 4 years of undergraduate.
In less
P-
than 2 years. Usually an undergraduate degree, the first degree is called undergraduate, right?
இல்ல மிஸ் பிஹெச்டியை கம்ப்ளீட் பண்ணிக்க தானே he had a PhD.
He had a PhD.
PhD
And
செஞ்சிருக்கு.
completed 4 years of undergraduate work. That is the first degree, undergraduate work. முதலாவது டிகிரியை தான் undergraduateன்றது.
Undergraduate work in less than 2 years.
அது 4 வருஷம் செய்யறத 2 வருஷத்துக்கு உள்ள முடிச்சுட்டார்.
அப்படியா? அப்படி செய்யலுமா மிஸ்?
If you are very intelligent and you can finish your coursework, I don't know if they allow you to do it in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
In America, I think it's about how many credits you get in the system. So if you are very intelligent, you can do that. Yeah.
Even the private universities also we can't do like that.
Right.
Miss, can you scroll? Miss charismatic andre full talent tani.
We'll come back to that. Just read it
Okay.
without, even if you don't understand, it's okay. Just keep reading. We'll come back to that and figure it out.
If I can you scroll, Miss? So interesting, this
Mm.
book. Miss, can you scroll?
Interval, interval, interval. Interval.
Miss, can you scroll? Scroll. Okay, Miss. Okay, Miss. Miss, can you move? Okay, Miss. Mhm. Okay, Miss. Okay, Miss.
All right, so this is the first part of the introduction. Let's stop and discuss this now. How much of it did you understand?
Yeah, only few words only I don't know.
So what do you say you understood about 90%?
Yeah, maybe more than 80%.
Okay, very good. So basically you understood what he was trying to say apart
Yeah.
from okay. And that's how you learn because now the new words, as you see it again and again in different circumstances, your brain will make the connection, right? So, okay, give me a summary of what you understood. Just
Yeah. Both are different view. The
Mm,
rich man and poor man,
mm,
they are thinking different thoughts
mm,
according to their money and education.
mm, mm,
So the poor father always thinking, he always give priority to the education.
Mm.
But at the same time, he worry about the money also.
Mm.
But the rich father is not like that.
Mm.
He not care about the education.
Mm.
He think always the money is enough to manage life.
Mm.
But the way of the living lifestyle is different.
Mm. Right.
So
Yeah.
the actually conclusion,
Mm.
in my point of view,
Mm.
both very important.
Right.
Without money, we can't live. At the same time,
Mm.
without education, also very important to manage the money
Mhm. Mm.
and the acceptance of the
Society.
personality.
Right.
Because it is very related to me.
Mm.
In my school, my new school,
Mm.
my one of PPA, he's
Mm.
a very richest man
Mm.
in Sri Lanka. You know, the Anchor product, not milk powder.
Mm.
The another thing, Anchor product, Anchor brand mean the what is the like a dal.
Right.
He had a very big company.
Mm.
I think he only most main part in market share.
Right.
He only import that
Mm.
time, and as well as he has a lot of companies also foreign.
Mhm.
But actually, he studied up to grade 11,
Mm.
but he has a lot of wealth.
Mm.
So he often talk with me because one of my PPA, past people.
Mhm.
So I always compare with me,
Mm.
my ideas, and actually he's a one of entrepreneur,
Mm.
but he has a less education.
Mm.
So he has a lot of experience better
Mm.
than me,
Mm.
but the some other educational and knowledge wise,
Mm.
the personality.
Mhm.
So I think many time I saw that is not acceptable that one.
Right. Okay.
So, but I agree,
Mm.
money also very important.
Mhm. Mm.
Without education, money is useless.
Right. Yeah. But
So
yeah, I agree. But I don't know if you need, because grade 11, he can do maths, he can understand English, he can, because do you need a degree and a master's degree and a PhD? I'm not sure.
no need that one.
Yeah, yeah,
Obviously, no need.
Yeah.
But we have enough of education
yeah. True.
to manage other people.
You know, this is because while I was reading this only, I was also thinking, because the Muslim community are business
Yeah.
people, right? So, because my father always told this story, because Tamil community, they are always just like the poor dad. It's like work, get a
Yeah.
stable job, get a retirement scheme. That's all they focus on. So in our household, it's always study more, study more, study more.
Yeah.
So he had a Muslim batchmate in the 60s in university. He was very intelligent. He became a university professor, I think, in chemistry. Um, but he came from a very, very rich family where
Oh,
the boys would be school dropouts after a certain age just to follow the father into business.
yeah.
Then they will start their own businesses, not just the father's business. They will open their own shops, do their own business, and become mega rich.
Yeah, those days okay, miss, but current situation is not like that.
Right.
Other people also learn.
Mhm.
Those days Muslims are very good businessmen.
Right.
Now these days we can't see that one.
I see.
There are very poor, very
Ah.
less amount entrepreneurs are there
I see.
because of their attitude.
I see.
They lost everything.
I see. No, but even
Colombo
though there
situation
are a
is
lot of rich Muslims, but I understand what you are saying. Yeah, it's
yeah.
not everybody
The
is
Colombo situation is very bad, but the Beruala somewhere, the
Right.
eastern side, now they learn lot.
Right.
The eastern side Muslim peoples are very good.
Right.
Those days the Jaffna also okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Now eastern and Kandy,
Right.
they have a lot of power. They are going to the out of the foreign also overseas and learn lot,
Right.
especially Japan and other countries.
Mhm.
But Colombo Muslims are, I don't think,
Right.
very poor level. Their poverty level and day by day increasing and some kind of problem.
I see. Okay.
But those days, okay, the gem business and
Mm.
another thing, the business item, everything
Yeah.
under control
Right.
the Muslims. But
Mm.
these days, not like that.
I see. Anyway, so just to continue this story because it's really funny.
Yeah,
Uh,
funny, funny.
so this man, he became a university professor. So he was getting a lecturer salary, which is very good.
Yeah.
Only problem was he grew up in a super rich family. So his salary
Oh,
was not enough to maintain his lifestyle because his brothers were all his father had passed away, left most of the money to the mother. The brothers were all school dropouts who had their own businesses. So they were also super rich. Now, this man was a lecturer. His salary was not enough for him to live like that. So he would often
oh,
go to his mother's house to borrow money to live like a
oh,
mega rich person. So my
oh,
father went with him one day to the house and the mother was scolding. படியாதடா படியாதடான்னு சொன்னேன்னு கேட்டா நான்.
oh.
Because for them it was like don't study, just go learn from your father and become a businessman, and he didn't do that. And so
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he was highly educated, he was not rich. And
Actually, if you study
yeah.
in Sri Lanka, we are getting very low salary.
Yeah, I know, because exactly what this is saying. You get enough to eat and survive, but other than that, you
Yeah.
don't have it. So you're
No,
thinking,
we can't fulfill our other needs,
yeah,
the luxury needs and
yeah,
entertainments.
I know, yeah. So yeah, so that's exactly what this guy is also saying. His father was a lecturer in America, but essentially still poor. So
Yeah, yeah, that's what. In my school,
yeah.
my canteen the who is doing the canteen,
Hmm.
he earning more than me
Right.
per day 5,000. Maybe 5,000 to 6,000.
Right.
But
Hmm.
comparing my salary is not 3,000 also per
Right.
day.
Right.
So very poor level we are.
Yeah. So entrepreneurs earn more than salaried workers. Yes. So
Yeah, entrepreneurs the profit
Hmm.
very not double or triple more
Hmm.
than.
Yep. Even three-wheel drivers are like that. You get a
Yeah,
three-wheel, you earn more than us. So
really, yeah. Three-wheel drivers also like that only. Another one, the Natama, we telling they're working. They also like that only, ma'am.
what is
The
a
PETA,
Natami exactly?
the go and the தூக்கிட்டு போறது means a cart
Ah,
hold
right.
saman. Yeah,
Right. Okay, yeah.
they also earning more
Yeah.
money.
Those in English you call them hawkers. Hawkers. Hawkers.
Sorry, what is it?
Hawkers.
F
Hawkers.
H A, yeah?
Yeah.
H A
WK.
W K. Hawkers,
Yeah.
hawkers.
All right. So let's go through this. Rich dad and poor dad. Having two dads offered me the choice of contrasting points of view. What is contrasting?
Contrasting அந்த அந்த என்னது அது அபரிமிதமான மாதிரியா
I'm not
choice
sure what's the
contrasting என்ற அதாவது மிகையான மாதிரி means
கொண்டு முரண்படுறது.
contrast.
So he got two different points of view, one opposite to the other. One of a rich man and one of a poor man.
I can அந்த ஒன்றுக்கொண்டு முரண்தான்.
Right.
எதிர்மறையான.
Yeah, right. I had two fathers, a rich one and a poor one. One was highly educated and intelligent. He had a PhD and completed 4 years of undergraduate work in less than 2 years. So the first degree, other people take 4 years. He did it less than 2 years. He then went on to Stanford University. So Stanford is considered one of the best universities in America. The University of Chicago and Northwestern University to do his advanced studies. So he has a lot of degrees, not only one degree.
Yeah.
All on full financial scholarships. Again, only the most intelligent students get full scholarships.
Yeah.
Must have been a very brainy person. The other father never finished the 8th grade. So he didn't even finish grade 8. Both men were successful in their careers, working hard all their lives. Both earned substantial incomes. What is substantial?
Substantial போதுமான அளவா?
More than enough, ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு தொகைன்னு சொல்லலாம். significant, substantial.
Significant என்று போதுமான அளவேனா?
Significant என்றது போதுமானதிலும் பார்க்க ஒரு சொல்லக்கூடிய ஒரு தொகை. Substantial is like quite big, not very big, quite big.
Yeah, அதுதான்.
Yet one always struggled financially. So both earned substantial incomes. So even the poor father earned a good income, but he struggled financially.
அது கஷ்டப்படுறாரு அப்போ அப்படி இருந்தாலும்.
Yep. The other would become one of the richest men in Hawaii. So Hawaii is an island state
Yeah.
of America.
Close to America, no?
Yes, yeah. It is part of America, but yes. Yeah.
Part of, yeah. It is an island, no?
Yeah, it's an island, yes. Tropical island.
Very famous for tourism.
Correct, yes. One died, leaving tens of millions of dollars to his family, charities, and his church. So not 1 million, 2 million, more than 10 million. Tens of million means 10, 20, 30, something like that million. The other left bills to be paid. So,
அவர் கடன் வச்சுட்டு போயிருக்கிறாரு
Yeah.
மத்தவர்.
correct.
மத்தவர் காசை வச்சுட்டு போயிருக்கிறார்.
Tens of millions, 1 million இல்ல.
ஓ மை காட்.
ஒரு 10, 20, 30 அந்த கணக்கில டென்ஸ்ல வர. ரைட்.
ஓ
ஒரு 10 மில்லியன் 20 மில்லியன் அப்படி வச்சுட்டு போயிருக்கிறேன். Both men were strong, charismatic, and influential. Okay, you know what? These are all adjectives to describe them. So
Yeah.
strong, you know. Influential, you know. What is charismatic?
yeah, I heard this one charismatic leaders also.
Yes.
We are talking, no?
Yeah.
The all, I think all talents included, all skills.
Basically, it's about attraction. Do they look magnetic? Are people attracted to them as a leader?
Uh-huh.
So basically, your personality.
Uh-huh.
So both had a very attractive personality that drew others to them. So both were strong, charismatic, and influential. So both had good personalities, basically. Both men offered me advice, but they did not advise the same things.
Yeah.
Both men believed strongly in education, but did not recommend the same course of study.
Yeah.
If I had only one dad, I would have had to accept or reject his advice. Having two dads offered me the choice of contrasting points of view.
Yeah.
One of a rich man and one of a poor man.
Yeah.
Instead of simply accepting or rejecting one or the other, I found myself thinking more, comparing, and then choosing for myself. The problem was that the rich man was not rich yet, and the poor man was not yet poor. So this is while he was growing up and they were becoming whatever they were, right? So both of them were still middle class. One was not rich yet, the other was not poor yet. They were somewhere in the middle class range. Both were just starting out on their careers, and both were struggling with money and families. So this was when he was a young boy, this author. The fathers were just starting out. They had new young families. They were just starting on their career. So both of them were struggling financially and with family commitments. But they had very different points of view about money. For example, one dad would say, the love of money is the root of all evil. The other said, the lack of money is the root of all evil. Okay, what's the difference here?
Yeah. மணியை விரும்புறது அந்த என்னது அது மூல காரணம் என்ன மாதிரி ஈவிலண்ட பேண்ட மாதிரி தான் அது
ஈவிலண்டா கெட்ட எல்லா
கெட்ட,
கெட்டதுக்கும் அப்ப காசுன்ற
காரணம்
பேராசை தான்
காசு
காரணம்.
அத மாதிரி சொல்றாரு இவரு. மணி இல்லாம இருக்கிறதும் எல்லா இந்த கெட்ட விஷயம் வர்றதுக்கு மணி இல்லாம இருக்கிறது காரணம் என்றார்.
ரைட். சோ ஒரு அப்பா சொல்றார் காசுல பேராசை கொள்றதுதான் எல்லா கெட்டதுக்கும் காரணம்.
அவர்
சொல்றார் காசு இல்லாம இருக்கிறதுதான் எல்லா கெட்டதுக்கும் காரணம்.
ரெண்டும் சரி மிஸ்.
Right.
both are
correct.
correct. But the thing is, how we handle.
Yeah, I know. Correct. Yeah. Okay. As a young boy, having two strong fathers, both influencing me, was difficult. I wanted to be a good son and listen, but the two fathers did not say the same things. The contrast in their points of view, particularly about money, was so extreme that I grew curious and intrigued. So, intrigued is the same thing like curious, but even more. Very, very curious is intrigued. இது என்னடா curious ஆகிறது intrigued. Okay. I began to start thinking for long periods of time about what each was saying. Much of my private time was spent reflecting, asking myself questions such as, why does he say that? So reflecting here means you're thinking about your thoughts, right? You're reflecting about something. So much of his time was spent reflecting, asking himself questions. Why does he say that? And then asking the same question of the other dad's statement. So one father says something, this boy will think, why is he saying that? Then the other father will say the opposite thing. He will be sitting and reflecting. Now, why did he say that? It would have been much easier to simply say, yeah, he's right. I agree with that. Or to simply reject the point of view by saying, the old man doesn't know what he's talking about. So this is what sons do, right? Either they accept the father's words or they reject it. They don't really think about why he's saying that. So it would have been easier to do that. Instead, having two dads whom I loved forced me to think and ultimately choose a way of thinking for myself. So he loved both dads and both were saying opposite things. So he had to choose what to think. And he finally chose a way for himself.
Yeah. Ultimately and finally, no?
Yeah. Hold on, what happened? The problem was that the rich man was not rich. Oh, no, wait.
No, you want to move.
Yeah, hold on. Choose a way of thinking for myself. Okay. As a process, choosing for myself turned out to be much more valuable in the long run than simply accepting or rejecting a single point of view. So he was not just accepting or rejecting one person's point of view. He used both point of views and then he came to his own conclusion. So he chose for himself what to think, which he says in the long run, which is the long term, served him much better. One of the reasons the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and the middle class struggles in debt is that the subject of money is taught at home, not in school. So in school, they don't teach us about banking, saving, financial literacy. That doesn't come in there.
It's debta, debta.
D-E-B-T, B is silent.
Debt, no?
Debt. Most of us learn about money from our parents. So if the parents don't teach you, is the problem. So
Yeah.
what can poor parents tell their children about money? They simply say, stay in school and study hard. The child may graduate with excellent grades, but with a poor person's financial programming and mindset. So I think this is what I have. I always save my money. I don't spend it unnecessarily because I grew up in a poor family. Other than that, I don't know anything about finances. Sadly, money is not taught in schools. Schools focus on scholastic and professional skills, but not on financial skills. This explains how smart bankers, doctors, and accountants who earned excellent grades may struggle financially all of their lives. So they are very intelligent. They got good grades in school, They're getting good salaries now, but they still struggle financially because they don't know how to manage their money.
Yeah.
Our staggering national debt is due in large part to highly educated politicians and government officials making financial decisions with little or no training in the subject of money. Again, so many countries, they have a huge debt like Sri Lanka. And this is
Yeah.
because the politicians have no idea how to handle money.
Miss staggering and
Staggering and அதுக்கு கீழே தள்ளாடுறது. So எங்கட தள்ளாடுற பெரிய ஒரு
struggle
முறையான
பண்றதா
yeah
struggle மாதிரியா
yeah so இப்ப தள்ளாடி நடக்கிறத ஸ்டெகரிங்ன்றது ரைட். இப்ப ஸ்டெகரிங் நேஷனல் டெட்ன்றது இதுல அந்த பெரிய ஒரு தொகையை முதுகில கொண்டு போற மாதிரி ஒரு இதப்ப ரைட். சோ இப்ப இந்த நேஷனல் டெட் வந்து இலங்கையின் முதுகில இருக்கிற மாதிரி ஸ்டெகரிங் தான் அது. இது
உண்மைதான்.
அமெரிக்காவை பற்றி கதைக்கிறேன். ஸோ today, I often wonder what will happen when we have millions of people who need financial and medical assistance. They will be dependent upon their families or the government for financial support. So 90% of people are like this. They depend on the government or their families, right? They
Yeah.
don't have their own money for their health care, for their education, or for their own needs. What will happen when Medicare and Social Security run out of money? So these are government funded programs. Medicare is where the government will pay for your health, like our free healthcare in Sri Lanka. And the Social Security is disability payments, pensions, that kind of thing. So if the government runs out of money to do that, then what happens? How will a nation survive if teaching children about money continues to be left to parents, most of whom will be or already are poor? So the parents are also poor means they don't have financial literacy. And if you leave the teaching of financial literacy only to the parents, then how will the children prosper?
Yeah.
Because I had two influential fathers, I learned from both of them. I had to think about each dad's advice, and in doing so, I gained valuable insight into the power and effect of one's thoughts on one's life. So insight is where you internally process information and get some wisdom. So he got some valuable insight about the power of thoughts by studying both fathers. For example, one dad had a habit of saying, "I can't afford it." The other dad forbade those words to be used. Forbid, past tense, forbade. What does that mean?
Forbidden விட்டுறதுனா
தடுக்கிறது.
forbid.
Right.
Forbidden தானே miss.
Yeah, forbidden. That is past participle.
Past.
Simple forbade.
Forbidden தடுக்கிறதா?
Yeah. So ஒரு அப்பா அடிக்கடி எனக்கு அதை அஃபோர்ட் பண்ண முடியாதுன்னு சொல்லுவேன். எனக்கு அதை கட்டாது, நான் அதை வாங்க முடியாது. மெட்ட அப்பா அப்படி ஒரு வார்த்தை சொல்லவே கூடாதுன்னு தடுத்து வச்சிருக்கிறேன். He insisted I ask, how can I afford it? So if you look at something and it say 100 million rupees, I will also think I can't afford it. But the rich father is saying, you ask yourself, how can I afford it? இதை நான் எப்படி afford பண்ண முடியும்? Right. That can do attitude.
Yeah.
One is a statement and the other is a question. So மற்றவர் முடியாண்டே முடிவு செய்து ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்டை விட்டுட்டு போயிட்டார், இது எனக்கு முடியாது. மற்றவர் இதை கேள்வியா கேள், என்னன்னு நான் இதை அஃபோர்ட் பண்ண.
Yeah. That entrepreneurs word miss that one.
I know. Yeah.
They are always thinking like that only.
Exactly. Yeah.
That different view miss their thoughts.
I know. Yeah. So one lets you off the hook and the other forces you to think. So lets you off the hook is like, this is a fish, right? The fish jumps on the hook. If you want, you can let it off the hook, means it can go away. So when you say, I'm letting you off the hook, I'm letting you escape. You're free now. So, or one lets you off the hook and take ஒன்று உங்களை ஒன்றும் யோசிக்க பண்ணாம சரி இப்போ ஒன்று விடுது. மற்றது ஃபோர்ஸ் பண்ணுதே சிந்திக்கிறதுக்கு. Right. So the father who says, I can't afford it, he doesn't spend much time thinking about it.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
lets
yeah.
him off the hook. The other one is supposed to think, now how can I afford it? My soon to be rich dad, so he's still not rich, but soon to be, within soon he will become rich. My soon to be rich dad would explain that by automatically saying the words, I can't afford it, your brain stops working. So you're never going to pursue any agenda, any kind of planning on how to afford it. You just stop. I can't afford it. You don't further think about it. By asking the question, how can I afford it? Your brain is put to work. He did not mean that you should buy everything you want. So அதுக்காக நீங்க கண்ட எல்லாத்தையும் வாங்க சொல்லி அவர் சொல்லல. He was fanatical about exercising your mind, the most powerful computer in the world. So fanatical is like extremist, not just normal. He was fanatical about exercising your mind. Which
எங்க
is
மிஸ் இருக்கா ஃபெனட்டிக்கல்
fanatic and தீவிரவாதி.
தீவிரமே.
Yeah. So அவர் வந்து அந்த உங்களோட மைண்டை எக்ஸசைஸ் பண்ண வேணும்னு யோசிக்கிறதுல தீவிரவாதி. He would say, my brain gets stronger every day because I exercise it. The stronger it gets, the more money I can make. So he believed in exercising his brain, and he said it was getting stronger because of it. He believed that automatically saying, I can't afford it, was a sign of mental laziness. So just like physical laziness, where you don't do physical exercise, saying, I can't afford it is mental laziness. So you have to exercise your brain, and you are lazy if you don't do that. Although both dads worked hard, I noticed that one dad had a habit of putting his brain to sleep when it came to finances, and the other had a habit of exercising his brain. So both worked hard, hardworking people. But the poor dad, when it came to finances, his brain was sleeping. It was not working there. The other was always exercising his brain on finances. The long-term result was that one dad grew stronger financially and the other grew weaker. It is not much different from a person who goes to the gym to exercise on a regular basis versus someone who sits on the couch watching television. Versus means as opposed to. On one side, you get someone who goes to the gym every day. Other side, you get someone sitting on the couch watching television every day. So you can see what the physical effect is on their bodies. Same thing with the mental effect also. One never thinks about finances. The other is always thinking about how to make more money. Proper physical exercise increases your chances for health, and proper mental exercise increases your chances for wealth. My two dads had opposing attitudes, and that affected the way they thought. One dad thought that the rich should pay more in taxes to take care of those less fortunate. The other said, taxes punish those who produce and reward those who don't produce.
இஸ் opposing என்றா தள்ளுறது தானே.
Same thing like contrasting, even worse than contrasting, direct opposite. Opposing is opposite. Opposite.
Yeah.
Okay. So ஒரு ஆள் சொல்றார் பணக்காரர் தான் கூட டேக்ஸ் கட்ட வேணும்ட்டு. மற்ற ஆள் சொல்றார் அவங்கள டேக்ஸ் பண்றது வந்து அந்த ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ற ஆக்களை ஃபைன் கட்டி ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணாத ஆக்களுக்கு இது கொடுக்குற மாதிரி, ரிவார்ட் கொடுக்குற மாதிரி. So this is the argument about communism versus capitalism.
Yeah.
One dad recommended, study hard so you can find a good company to work for. The other recommended, study hard so you can find a good company to buy. One dad said, the reason I am not rich is because I have you kids. இங்க புள்ளியல் இருக்கிறாதபடியா தான் நான் இருக்கிறபடியா தான் நான் ரிச்சா இருக்கையில உங்களை செலவழிக்க வேண்டி இருக்குது. The other said, the reason I must be rich is because I have you kids. So எனக்கு புள்ளியல் இருக்கு, அதனால நான் ரிச்சா இருக்க வேணும். One encouraged talking about money and business at the dinner table, while the other forbade the subject of money to be discussed over a meal. So sometimes they have that cultural thing about talking about money is bad manners, right? So I think the educated dad said you shouldn't talk about money at the dinner table.
Yeah, yeah,
The rich dad was always talking about money even at the dinner table.
yeah, yeah.
One said, when it comes to money, play it safe. That is, always be on the safe side, put it in a bank, don't take risks.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, don't take risks. The other said, learn to manage risk.
Yeah.
One believed our home is our largest investment and our greatest asset. The other believed my house is a liability. And if your house is your largest investment, you are in trouble. Both dads paid their bills on time, yet one paid his bills first, while the other paid his bills last. Okay, he doesn't say who is doing it, but what do you guess? Who do you think paid the bills
Yeah.
first? And who do you
Yeah.
think paid the bills last?
Rich man, no?
Yeah, he did what?
First.
No. I am thinking the poor man paid it first, the rich man paid it last.
Oh.
Because then that's what I'm thinking. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Because
because
these guys are like, if you pay on the 1st of the month, you lose that money. You pay on the 30th of that month, you have it for 30 days more without a fine.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, we'll see. One dad believed in a company or the government taking care of you and your needs. He was always concerned about pay raises, retirement plans, medical benefits, sick leave, vacation days, and other perks. What are perks?
First and the தேவையா
Benefits.
நீ
Another way to say is it benefits. Benefits of the job. When you get a job, you get all these, sick pay, medical leave, bonus. So perks are the extra parts. So bonus can be a perk. The benefits of the job, other than the salary. He was impressed with two of his uncles who joined the military and earned a retirement and entitlement package for life after 20 years of active service. So his uncles worked for 20 years in the military, and then after that, they didn't have to pay their medical bills. They had a retirement plan that was very good. So he was very impressed with that. He loved the idea of medical benefits, and I don't know what this means. I don't know if it's a typo or a special. Okay, and privileges the military provided its retirees. Okay, so when you work in the military, they give you some a generous retirement package. So he was very impressed with that. He also loved the tenure system available through the university. So in America, when you say tenure, that is when a lecturer gets tenure, that means he can't be fired from the job, no matter what he does, right? So he loved that system. If I get to tenure, then I'm safe. Nothing can happen to me. The idea of job protection for life and job benefits seemed more important at times than the job. So he was more interested in the job benefits and the security than the job itself of actually working. He would often say, I have worked hard for the government and I am entitled to these benefits. So he did work hard, not that he didn't, but then his attitude was, because I worked for the government, I'm entitled to all this job security, pension, medical benefits, all that. The other believed in total financial self-reliance. What do you mean by self-reliance?
பெனிஃபிட்ஸ் அது
Sorry?
பெனிஃபிட்ஸா மிஸ்
Self-reliance என்ன என்ன? ஒரு ஆள் வந்து கவர்மெண்ட் எனக்கு எல்லாம் தர வேணும்னு நினைக்கிறார்.
ஓ
Mettal believed in total financial self-reliance. What do you mean by self-reliance?
அவட்ட அந்த சுய இத நம்பி
Right,
இருக்காரா
right. சுயமா எல்லாமே எங்களை நாங்களே நம்பி இருக்கோம்ன்றதுல அவர் நம்பிக்கை கொண்டவர். மற்றவை எங்களுக்கு தவிர நாங்களே சுயமா எல்லாம் செய்வோம். He spoke out against the entitlement mentality and how it created weak and financially needy people. So entitlement mentality என்றா எனக்கு நீங்க தர வேணும் என்ற ஒரு எதிர்பார்ப்பு உள்ள ஆக்கள். So இப்படியான ஆக்கள் வந்து வீக்கான ஆக்கள் என்று அடிக்கடி பேசுவார். நீங்களே உங்களோட கால நின்று கொள்ளுங்க, மற்றவை உங்களுக்கு இதை தர வேணும்னு நினைக்க வேண்டாம். He was emphatic. Emphatic is emphasis. So he is emphatic and அதுல அழுத்தி உறுதியா இருக்கிறது. He was emphatic about being financially competent. That is, on your own, you can manage your finances. The government doesn't give you a salary. Nobody else gives you anything. You are on your own generating your finances. One dad struggled to save a few dollars. The other created investments. One dad taught me how to write an impressive resume so I could find a good job. Resume is another word for CV. So I think this would be the poor dad.
Yeah.
He taught you how to write a good CV to get a good job. The other taught me how to write strong business and financial plans so I could create jobs. So one taught you to be an employee, the other taught you to be an employer. Okay. So one taught you to write CVs, the other taught you to write business plans. Being a product of two strong dads allowed me the luxury of observing the effects different thoughts have on one's life. I noticed that people really do shape their lives through their thoughts. So our thoughts shape our lives, and he observed that over the long term with both fathers.
ஷேப் என்றது வடிவமைக்கிறது தானே
Yeah,
மிஸ்
exactly. Yeah. So நாங்க என்ன சிந்திக்கிறோமோ அதை வச்சு எங்களோட வாழ்க்கை வடிவமைப்பு சேர்ந்து வரும். For example, my poor dad always said, I will never be rich. So he had that mentality, I'll never be rich. So he was never rich.
யா யா
And that prophecy became reality. Prophecy என்றா முன்கூட்டி இது நடக்கும் எதிர்காலத்துல சொல்றது. Right?
என்ன ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்றதா மிஸ் ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்றதா
இல்ல, prophecy என்றது prophet என்ற இதுல இருந்து வருகிறது. அதாவது
தீர்க்க தரிசனம்
இல்ல, எதிர்காலத்தை முன்கூட்டி சொல்றது.
அதுதான் மிஸ் தீர்க்க தரிசனம் என்ன சொல்றது
ஓகே, எனக்கு அந்த தமிழ் சரியா வருது.
ஹைபர்ட் தான் அதாவது பின்னுக்கு என்ன நடக்கிறதோ அதை முன்கூட்டியே சொல்றது.
ரைட். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் 20 வருஷத்துல உங்களுக்கு இப்படி நடக்கும் என்றது ஒரு ப்ரொஃபஸி. ரைட்.
அத முன்கூட்டியே சொல்றது. அந்த இது இல்ல மிஸ், அந்த சாத்திரம் கூறுறது இல்ல, அது இருக்கிற அந்த கன்சிக்வன்ஸ மையமா வச்சு ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ற மாதிரி.
ஆனா இது சாத்திரம் மாதிரியே வேற. சாத்திரம் மாதிரி தான்.
அப்படியா?
ஓ, சோ இவர் வந்து நான் ஒரு நாளும் ரிச்சா இருக்க மாட்டேன்ன்றது ப்ரொஃபஸியை நீங்க சொல்றார். ஆனா ப்ரொஃபஸி என்றது, ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் த ப்ரொஃபெட் முஹம்மது, he gave a lot of prophecies about what will happen to the people, right?
Yeah.
Those are prophecies.
அது வந்து
இது நடக்கும், 1000 காலத்துல இவ்வளவு இது நடக்கும், அதெல்லாம் prophecies. Right.
நெகட்டிவா அந்த பாசிட்டிவ் மீனிங்கா மிஸ் இந்த ப்ரொஃபஸி என்று?
எதுவும் ரெண்டும் வரும். எதிர்காலத்துல இது நடக்கும் என்று முன்கூட்டி சொல்றது. அது நெகட்டிவாயும் இருக்கலாம், பாசிட்டிவாயும் இருக்கலாம். சோ சாத்திரம் சொல்ற மாதிரி தான். Those are prophecies. And that prophecy became reality. So இவர் நான் ஒரு காலம் ரிச்சா இருக்க மாட்டேன்னு வாயத்துல வந்து சொல்லிக்கொண்டே இருந்தேன். அது சொன்ன மாதிரியே அது உண்மையா வந்துச்சு. My rich dad, on the other hand, always referred to himself as rich. So even when he was not rich, he always called himself a rich man. he would say things like, I am a rich man and rich people don't do this. Even when he was flat broke after a major financial setback, he continued to refer to himself as a rich man. He would cover himself by saying, there is a difference between being poor and being broke. Broke is temporary, poor is eternal. Do you understand that?
Oh,
Just tell me what you understood in Tamil from that.
rich people வந்து இதை செய்யக்கூடாது என்றாரு.
Mm.
அவங்க வந்து அந்த அதாவது பிரேக் ஆவினாலும்
Mm.
பெரிய அந்த கஷ்டத்துக்கு அந்த ஃபைனான்சியல் கஷ்டம் வந்து அவங்க அப்படி ஆயினாலும்
Mm.
அவங்க வந்து அவங்க he continued to refer to himself. அவங்க நாங்க இன்னும் எங்களுக்கு ரிச்ன்றதை அவங்க உள்ளுணர்வா உணர்ந்து கொள்ளணும். எங்களுக்கு ஏழும் என்ற மாதிரி அதுதானே சொல்றாங்க மிஸ். he continued to refer to himself as a rich man.
Mm.
ரிச் மேன் என்ற அந்த ஃபைனான்சியலா அவங்க ஏதாவது முறிவடைஞ்சாலும் இயலாம போனாலும் அவங்க இன்னும் அவங்களுக்குள்ள நினைச்சு கொள்ளணும் அவங்களுக்கு முடியும் என்ற மாதிரி தான் பணக்காரன் என்ற மாதிரி. he would cover himself by saying there is a difference between being poor and being broke. அந்த டிஃபரன்ஸ் being
Okay,
poor
broke.
and
All right, broke is an American term which means you have no money. I am broke and என்கிட்ட காசே இல்ல. Right?
bankrupt மாதிரி.
Bankrupt, yeah. அவர் broke இருக்கிற நேரம் தன்னை தானே ரிச்சன் தான் சொல்லிக் கொள்வார். So இவர் யூனிவர்சிட்டி லெக்சரர் சம்பளம் வாங்கி கொண்டும் தன்னை தானே ரிச்சன்னு சொல்லவும் இல்லை, நான் ஒரு காலம் ரிச்சா இருக்க தான் சொல்லுவார். இவர் ஒரு சதம் கையில இல்லாமலும் நான் ஒரு ரிச் மேன் தான் சொல்லுவார். So all right, so
மிஸ் இது என்னது between being poor and being broke and
okay, let me explain this. My rich dad, on the other hand, always referred to himself as rich. அவர் தன்னை தானே எப்பவும் ரிச்சன் தான் சொல்லிக் கொள்வார். He would say things like, I am a rich man and rich people don't do this. அப்ப அவருக்கு சொல்றாங்க அவற்ற வார்த்தைகள் எல்லாம், நான் ஒரு பணக்கார மனுஷன், பணக்கார அக்கள் இப்படி நடந்து கொள்ள மாட்டாங்க, அப்படித்தான் தன்னை தானே கழிச்சு கொள்ளுவார். Even when he was flat broke after a major financial setback, he continued to refer to himself as a rich man. அவருக்கு ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு ஃபைனான்சியல் செட்பேக் வந்து ஃபுல்லா காசே இல்லாம போனா பிறகு தன்னை தானே ரிச் மேன் தான் சொல்லிக் கொள்ளுவார். He would cover himself by saying there is a difference between poor and being broke. Okay, தமிழ்ல இதை டிரான்ஸ்லேட் பண்ண முடியாது இந்த அமெரிக்கன். அவர் சொல்லுவார் புவருக்கும் புரோக்குக்கும் வித்தியாசம் இருக்குது. broke is temporary, poor is eternal. broke வந்து ஒரு டெம்பரரி செட்பேக், அது காலத்துல மாறும். புவர்ண்டா காலந்தூர ஏழை, நான் ஏழை இல்லை, இப்ப தச்சையில புரோக்கா இருக்கிறேன்.
புவ வந்து இட்டர்னல் எந்த நாளும் இருக்கிறதா
எப்போதுமே ஏழை, நான் ஏழை இல்லை இப்போது.
இட்டர்னல் லைஃப் என்றது மிஸ் என்னது?
இட்டர்னல் எப்போதும் என்றது இட்டர்னல்.
eternal life and கேட்டீங்க மிஸ்.
So eternal life you can have in heaven. Now you can't. In the world you will die at 80, 90, whatever years old. That is not eternal. After you die, maybe in heaven you will have eternal life.
விலங்கல மிஸ். ஆஃப்டர் டைக்கு வரதா eternal life?
எப்போதும் நீங்க உயிரோட இருக்க போறது இல்ல தானே இப்ப?
இல்ல.
சோ எப்போதும் உயிரோட இருக்க போறீங்க?
நாங்க ஒரு 70, 80 வரைக்கும் வாழுவோம். அதுக்கப்புறம்
அப்ப இறந்தா பிறகு சொற்க லோகத்துல எப்போதும் உயிரோட இருப்பீங்கன்னு ஒரு நம்பிக்கை இருக்கு சில ஆட்களுக்கு. அதே இட்டர்னல் லைஃப்னு சொல்றது.
சொர்க்கத்துல இருக்கிறது.
ரைட்.
மறுமை என்ன மாதிரி அடுத்த உலகம்.
எக்ஸாக்ட்லி. சோ இட்டர்னல் என்றா எப்போதும். சோ இவர் என்னண்டா ஒரு காசும் இல்லாத நேரம் தன்னை தானே பணக்காரன் என்றுவார். தற்போதுதான் எனக்கு காசு இல்ல, நான் இப்போது புரோக்கர் தான் இருக்கிறேன், ஆனா நான் புவர் இல்ல, நான் ஏழை இல்ல, நான்
நிலையான வாழ்வு என்ற மாதிரி இட்டர்னல் லைஃப்.
எக்ஸாக்ட்லி.
நான் மோட்டிவேஷனல் ஸ்பீச் தான் கேட்டு இருக்கிறது. அதுக்கு சொல்ற நேரம் விளங்குறது இதைத்தான் சொல்றாங்க என்று. ஆனா வேர்ட் பை பாக்குற நேரம் கொஞ்சம்
ஓகே. ரைட். There's a lot more and we are almost, so we'll continue this later. But try reading this on your own as much as you can. And send the audio book as well, so you can listen to it for the pronunciation. So that's your homework over the next month. Try finishing reading and finishing on your own over the next month.
Yeah,
This
it
period.
is a very interesting book. So I
Yeah.
like to read interesting.
Okay, good. All right. So the idea anyway, I'm glad it's interesting, but the idea is for you to get exposed to authentic English and pick up normal English sentences, flow, grammar, vocabulary, everything, right? So after this, we are moving into normal books, normal movies. You have to get exposed to English at that level and keep picking up. Okay. All right. All right. We'll stop there for tonight.
Yeah, Miss. Okay. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night, Miss. Okay.